Good morning, Puggle Crew. Oh, my voice this morning. Let's try this again. Good morning, Puggle Crew. It's been a long couple of days, let me tell you. Let me tell you. I know I got this heat wave here again. I'm hot. I was just vacuuming the freaking living room. Oh my gosh. So I hope you guys had a good weekend. It's what, Tuesday? There's so much. Like, I've been out of the loop of everything that's been going on. I haven't looked at anything yet because I wanted to be like surprised for you guys. But I've heard some stuff. I'm trying to put my hair up. I am hot. I have a fan on me. Ugh. And my speaker is not even connected. So why did I even get that? Hold on. Let me connect my speaker. I don't know why it's doing this. Give me a second. That's not what I wanted. This? No, it's not this. What, Pugsley? Pugsley is right behind me. Let's see. Devices. Connect. Bluetooth connected. Okay. Why does it seem like my mic is picking up things better? Okay, it is my mic. I just, like, muted myself. I don't even know where I wanna start. Oh, Queen's live. I didn't know she was live. I wouldn't have gone live if I knew she was live. And why is my computer being slow? It's like, bitch, you haven't used me? So I'm gonna be slow. Ooh, House of Horrors. Investigators use birth certificates and DNA in disturbing Siders case. I wanted to cover that because that's actually pretty close to me. I could probably go sit out in front of their house right now if I wanted to. But I'm not going to because my medication doesn't allow me to be in the heat. Oh, let's see. Let's see what we'll start off with some Brian and always a good way to wake up in the morning is with some Brian Enton. I know there's gonna be a freaking ad.
What if you could make a song using only your voice? Let's start with the drums.
Hey guys, thanks so much for checking out my show. Really appreciate everybody for watching. Appreciate everybody who has subscribed. There are new details that are coming out in this House of Horrors case in Ohio. That's what it's sort of been.
There is a video. Somebody went into the house. I can find it in like video, like all the way through the house. It's fucking disgusting. These people are nasty as fuck.
Called the story House of Horrors, and based on all the details that I've seen, it truly was horrific. Details about the parents' history, more about what was happening that may have gone unnoticed, what the parents' defense may be in all of this. I'm gonna get to all of these new details coming up in this episode.
Spoiler alert if you haven't seen the video. So you might want to mute me in 3, 2, 1. The mattresses that the kids were sleeping on, there's only 3 mattresses for all, 19 of them or 16 of them. They're in the back. I think they're in I think it used to be like an old garage or something. Why is this not charging? Yeah, they're in the back of the house.
Also, like all their birth certificates, just really tracing back the history of this family. A little bit of the backstory though, 16 children were rescued from an Ohio home. The kids were kept isolated. It was a 12 by 12 foot home. I'm sorry, 12 by 12 foot room inside the small home, according to authorities. The kids isolated from the world, police say, and living in just total squalor. Investigators described the children as almost feral, which...
They were, like, lifting, like, stuff up off the ground, like, bedding or whatever. So I don't know what room it was in. I wanna say the living room or something. I don't know, don't quote me, but there's cockroaches just running everywhere as soon as they started lifting stuff up. It was gross.
I've seen some of the comments, like people are like, oh my gosh, it's such an awful way to describe children. And I don't disagree, but that's what investigators said at their press conference. And I think it just gives you an idea of how bad apparently this was. The children were ranging in age from 18 months to 18 years old. They were 18, 16, 15, 14, 13, 11, 10, 8, 6, 5, 4-year-old twins, 2-year-old twins, and 1.5-year-old twins. The parents and the grandparents were arrested. 73-year-old Gary Siders, 60-year-old Christina Siders, 36-year-old Gary Siders II, and 33-year-old Elizabeth Siders. Now, Gary Siders Sr. Apparently has some kind of health condition, we've learned. When he was booked in, they discovered it, apparently.
I'm gonna guess he has some type of cancer, and it's on his brain due to this eye. I mean, that's how my mom's eye went when she had lung cancer because it spread to her brain. I'm just assuming. Oops, excuse me. I'm just assuming.
And according to prosecutors, he's now been transferred to a hospital. Elizabeth Siders, the mom, her lawyer has been doing a lot of interviews. He also spoke on News Nation, and he's defending Elizabeth, claiming that this entire situation is not what it is being portrayed in the media and with law enforcement. Listen to what the lawyer said on News Nation.
We're talking about a headline that reads, "A House of Horrors, Pure Evil." That is the description that the Ohio Attorney General used. And I believe that that is probably the reason that we're here today doing this interview, is because the Ohio Attorney General, and now picked up by the media, is using this inflammatory and invocative language. So we are at the very early stages of this investigation. I was able to meet with my client, Elizabeth. I've met with her now 3 times. The person that I met does not come across as pure evil. The person that I met comes across as a mother who has been separated from her children, who is exhausted, and who misses her children, and is asking me constantly what she needs to do to see her children again, what she needs to do to ultimately be reunited with her children. That does not jive with the prosecutor's narrative. It doesn't jive with the Attorney General's narrative. And I think because of that language, that
If she was so if she's asking about seeing her children, what she needs to do to be reunited, then she should have said something about the living conditions of this house well before all of this happened. I don't fucking believe her one bit. It people said they've seen her and him out and about. Why didn't she try to contact somebody? Say, "Hey, I need help. This is the situation and I can't get out of it." Why? I don't believe her one fucking bit. No, no.
it was used so early on in this case, we are sitting here now having to defend that on television and in the media instead of in a court of law.
Meanwhile, the dad, Gary Siders Jr., who is 36 years old, there's this separate incident involving him where he's accused of public indecency, and according to court documents, he's accused of exposing himself outside of his home to people other than those in his household.
I'm thinking there's some like mental health issues that run in this family. Because why would you expose yourself to somebody who doesn't live inside your home? Why would you even expose yourself to your parents? That's just fucking gross.
Different occasions. To court documents back May, according to WOWK, which is one of the local affiliates, Gary Siders Jr. and Elizabeth Siders were married in 2008. Elizabeth was 15 years old. Gary was 18 years old. Their eldest child, who is now 18.
If she was 15 and he was 18, I'd be questioning the parents of her too about her upbringing. Like, girl, you need to wash your hair too. That's bad. Ew, look at it. Ugh! But I'd be questioning her upbringing too and what her parents or their past too, because letting a 15-year-old marry an 18-year-old? No. No.
Was born just 2 months after their marriage. So Elizabeth was very, very young. In addition to the 16 children, WOWK reports that another set of twins, both girls, were born in 2022, but died the same day.
Yeah.
There is a man named Ronnie Fletcher, who is the son-in-law on the of the Siders family, and he spoke to news station WOWK.
If we would have known that it was like that in that home, we would have done something about it. Even if it was to just go there and take the kids ourselves or give more money. I mean, whatever. You know, them girls would have went there and cleaned the house themselves if they would have known it was like that. Last time we heard from them, we gave them a car. And that's probably close to a year ago now. We've done what we could for that family at the arm's length that they was keeping us at.
What do you want people to know about your family and then your extended family?
Well, I mean, I just want them to know that all right, my wife would take the last $5 out of her pocket and buy somebody a meal.
Stupid ads.
And Chance running out of gas to get home. If we didn't know this was that way, we would have helped.
Would have been there.
Yep.
So for more on where the investigation stands now, I want you to hear my conversation with LA Magazine reporter Lauren Conlin, who's been all over this story. Hey Lauren, it's good to see you. This is such just a disturbing case on so many levels. Everything about it. I was kind of skeptical that all 16 kids were born in the hospital, but the new reporting I'm seeing is that there are birth certificates for all of them. Is that true? And if so, do we know how then did the officials not keep up with these kids and they just sort of disappeared off the radar?
You're right, Brian. So it was ABC6, a local affiliate, who actually was able to pull all of the birth certificates for all 16 children, and they confirmed that all of them were born in hospitals, which is interesting to your point, because,
Okay, first off, okay, I'm happy that they were all born in a hospital, but kind of makes me wonder if they were all at different hospitals. I'm sure she's going to tell us this, but I wonder if they were all born at different hospitals, so they didn't catch on to the mom having 16 plus the two this past 19 kids. 16, 17, 18. She's pregnant again too, by the way. Spoiler alert. So there's soon to be 19. But you would think, because I've got friends who work in ERs, doctor's offices, stuff like that, and the stories they tell me about people that come in, it's mostly to the ER, about how bad they smell and the living conditions that she was in. Unless she bathed right before she went in, I mean, she had to have stunk to high hell giving birth.
I'm thinking back about when I gave birth, and women out there, you guys can sort of think back or remember way in here, but we had to either write down the name of our pediatrician or the hospital would assign one to us initially, and then from there it was kind of like, well, if you don't make these appointments, someone's got to hold you accountable, because the hospital has all of this on record, and at least this was in my experience. And so I go back to what happened in between.
Hey guys, I've been on the road so much lately. I've been distracted by so many stories, and there are certain things I just don't have. Feature on the unlimited and unlimited family plans.
Local reporters asked him about welfare checks, and to his knowledge, only the elder Siders, Gary and Christina, or Lynn Siders, were getting checks from the government, which is mind-blowing to me. And I'm kind of wondering, did Gary and Elizabeth Siders not know this was an option? I keep going back to okay, well, Elizabeth finished the 8th grade, Gary finished the 9th grade. Gary Siders Sr., he might have some I guess diminished capacity here that he's working with. So maybe he didn't inform them that they could be doing this, but I have a lot of questions. That one of the biggest is the state. Why did nobody from the state, no one from CPS know about these?
CPS is a bunch of bullshit in the state of Ohio, I can tell you that right now. Right fucking now. And I know it's bullshit everywhere. CPS doesn't care about the kids. They don't. They just care about getting their money.
Kids.
Did you see the one family member who posted on Facebook something about how they're just have low IQ? Like that's what happened here. It's not more complicated than that. It's not evil. It's just low IQ, which I just don't buy. I mean, you can have low IQ, but that doesn't mean you would have 16 kids living in squalor to the point where it sounds like one, at least one, is in really, really bad shape or was in really bad shape, even
Mhm.
health wise.
Yeah, I mean, I did see that. That was one of Elizabeth Sider's brothers, I believe. And look, this is tough, Brian, because I feel like it's really hard for a lot of us to comprehend. We are fortunate, and what we, I guess, see in our lives is much different than what these people see. So, just sort of deter from your question for a second, local reporters also spoke to an employee at the Dollar General who came in contact with a few members of the Siders family who would pop in. They said mainly at night. They had very, very poor hygiene, is what this employee said.
Mhm.
But that
See?
wasn't really uncommon for such an impoverished area. That didn't make them, think anything of this. And they would mainly buy chips and diapers, this guy said, and sometimes they didn't have enough money. So I'm thinking about, the fact that Elizabeth had, I think it was 3 sets of twins, ages 4, 2, and 1. That's 6 toddlers. I mean, I've had toddlers. You have to change their diaper, multiple times a day. We're talking like 5 to 6 times at a certain point, within a 12-hour period. Do you think these kids had that type of attention on them? No, absolutely not. I just feel like, yes, low IQ would be a part of it, but also, they're very, very impoverished. And I mean, you're right. I just about like, I don't buy that it's like they didn't know any better, but
Just to put this out there, I don't live in this town. I actually shower. I actually just showered last night. Thank you very much. Um, I was sitting here when she said 5 to 6 times a day you would change a toddler's butt. Trying to think back when my son, God, he's gonna be 18 in a couple months. Yeah, about 4 or 5 times a day. Yeah, I think. But he always told me when he went. So I got lucky with my son. I just I don't know. Mm, I just can't wrap my mind around this situation. It is so gross and just
I
horrible.
just don't know if it's evil at this point. But there's so many things that we don't know. It's hard to say that conclusively, but I'm having a hard time now saying, okay, they did this on purpose. They only cared about themselves. It doesn't sound like they were taking great care of themselves either.
Do we know why the investigators ended up at the house? Because there were the reports initially about
The
indecent
warrant, like, guy's
exposure,
arrest.
that there may have been like a warrant or an investigation involving, I guess, Gary Jr. and indecent exposure. But now
Right.
I've heard that that's not necessarily why they came. Do we know?
Investigators are not confirming that that is why, but yes, initially many of us were reporting that as the reason. There was about 4 different instances or charges of indecent exposure in May of 2026, and they were about 3 or 4 days incident, I guess. So
Jesus.
the criminal complaint
There's gotta
doesn't
be
tell
some
us
mental health in
exactly
there.
what happened during those incidents, but I did see an interview on a local news station with Gary Sider's senior, no, I'm sorry, Gary Sider Jr.'s attorney, and he stated that he did not think this would be the reason. I mean, that they would come, storming in here. So what is the reason? I don't know. It's that's part of the mystery here.
Has there been any kind of update on the condition of the kids since we first heard about this?
Well, investigators and the county attorney have said the kids are all in foster homes.
Yep.
They're getting the care they need, they're getting the attention that they need, and they're all doing very well. They've stated that DNA testing is still underway, although, it is interesting. I heard that last week at a press conference. However, the birth certificates were obtained by ABC6, which stated that Elizabeth and Gary were both the father and mother of these kids. So, I am wondering, I guess, what the DNA testing could be for additionally. If anything, maybe they just want to double check. But yeah, the kids are doing okay so far. And also, there was a Facebook post that had surfaced of this alleged foster mom. Again, investigators have not confirmed, and law enforcement hasn't confirmed. But
No,
this
you
foster
fall.
mom had said to somebody in a response,
Hold on. No, you don't get your off the chair. You're gonna fall. My dog wants on my lap so bad, but enough for the both of us. No, go lay down. Go lay down. So if you hear something whining in the background, that's Pugsley the Puggle. That Pugsley, no, go lay down. We've already cuddled. Yeah, I had to give him his morning cuddles. It's like our routine. We cuddle every morning. And he gets belly rubs every morning. No, Pugsley.
that she had
No.
two of the Siders girls, and they confirmed that their mom was pregnant with the baby girl, which I thought was, I guess, not shocking, but I, with what we're dealing
Wait,
with here.
say
But
that
also
again,
was,
because I'm just trying to follow. So the foster
Yeah.
mom posted.
If you don't know Puggles, it's a half pug, half beagle dog. They're like the cutest fucking things ever. And they have, when they don't get their way, they throw a puggle fit. That's him starting his puggle fit, and then and then he'll like he's on my bed. I'm waiting for him to start like 2-year-olds will throw themselves down or whatever and throw a fit. He throws himself down and then he'll like whatever's closest to him, he's on my bed, so he's gonna like bite my blanket. He just feels like a little puggle fit.
What?
she posted in response to some question that she had two of the Siders girls in her care, and they told her that Elizabeth Siders is currently pregnant right now.
Really? So
Mhm.
is there? I wonder though if that would have come out in the proceedings somehow, like when they were discussing like her in custody and how she should be treated. You know what I mean? Like I feel like I've seen that come out before when people are in court and they're pregnant.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Well, this works out well. So the mom of all the kids, Pugsley, she's actually trying to get out of jail. Pugsley. Sorry. Because the because her father-in-law, he got out and he's in the hospital, so she thinks she needs to get out too. Oh, volumes.
Arraignment, Elizabeth Siders, this is the only time we've seen her, or any of them actually, attempt to speak. She attempted to say something to the judge. Like, you can flip. And the judge was like, I need to remind you, you have the right to remain silent. Say it. So who knows what she was going to say? But I did see she's getting care packages in jail, and also her brother posted her booking number so people could find her booking number in order to send her these care packages. Which again, her attorney isn't saying much about if this is true or not. He hasn't really addressed it at all. Neither has law enforcement. So I don't know if this is factual, but I'm also like, why is this person saying this on Facebook? Isn't this, this is seemingly private, but I guess this is a very national case at this point. So
When it's a small town, it seems like people just kind of talk, and Facebook seems to be the preferred. I've noticed like a lot of the family members are on Facebook. So you're
Yeah.
saying she could be pregnant with child number 17?
I think there's a very high probability, again, especially based on the fact that
Just because you are fertile myrtle mean you should have that many kids. We all seen what happened to the 19 kids and counting family, and what this stuff's still coming out about all of these kids. They're all horrible kids. And then you've got Miss Fertile Myrtle over here just popping kids out and not taking care of them. So
every year since 2008, it's about that time, Brian. So,
And so even though the dad is listed on Gary Jr. is
Mhm.
listed on the birth certificates, but you're saying there's ongoing DNA testing. I guess that would make sense because when you're the dad listed on the birth certificate, like there's no DNA, right? You could just say this is the dad and they'll put the dad, right?
could you imagine the child support he would have to pay? Damn. Oh, he'd be in jail so fast. Well, he'd get so far behind on child support, and then they would issue a warrant for his arrest. I already know it. That's what's if it comes down to it, that's what's gonna happen.
It could be
Yeah.
someone else for some of them.
No, you're right. That they don't test your baby upon you giving birth.
Right.
You just, you fill out these forms. But I think that as this case progresses, there are more family members coming out, and it does seem like the Siders were very isolated for quite some time. And also the local reporters, they've been kind of showing us some drone footage of the home, and it really was secluded. Like there weren't
Yeah, it was
neighbors
out
right
there on
next
the
door.
deck.
It was very much kind of away from everything. So I still am confused though as to how no one saw 16 kids move into that home, and no one saw, it's very bizarre, very, very
I don't
bizarre.
buy it. I don't buy that there wasn't. I mean, there was the railroad tracks right there. I
Yeah.
just think 16 kids. There had to be someone who saw something.
Right.
Have we heard anything about a possible defense at this point? I mean, do you think mental health is going to come into play here?
Oh, it will.
Well, Gary Siders Sr. is getting an evaluation. The state signed off on that. His attorney had stated that initially he had no idea how to follow these court proceedings. He was very lost. He didn't even know who his attorney was, why he was there. And they were like, okay, we need to get him evaluated ASAP. So that should be happening. And I'm willing to bet there probably will be some kind of NGI plea, because they're kind of saying that he was not in his right state of mind when, I don't even know how to say this, because Brian, we don't even actually know. I keep saying alleged abuse, but like we don't actually know if these kids were hit, if they were starved, if they were just living in filthy conditions. We don't
Well, they
know
were.
all of the details here. So
See the video.
yeah, this guy, Gary Siders Sr., he could have just been living in this house in his own world, dealing with whatever he's allegedly dealing with, and not actually knowing. But then I go back to the whole, these kids have, a lot of them have been around for, let's say, 18 years. So what happened up until then? How are they living 5 years ago? Was it like this? Was there a decline? Did something happen specifically?
When the reports that the 18-year-old can't even write her name, did you see that?
I did, and that was one of the questions. Why is an 18-year-old grouped in with a child endangerment case? And they said, well, she couldn't write her own name. We thought, she potentially was mute. But then good old Facebook is again, this is unconfirmed, but there have been rumors. And also, Elizabeth Siders' attorney did echo this. The older kids had social media. And they had iPhones, and they were communicating with people this
Why
way.
don't they freaking
So
reach out
I don't
to
know what the
somebody?
truth is there. We'll find out. But her attorney, Tommy Stolley, also said, she shared all these inside jokes with the kids. Her and Gary Siders always wanted a big family. So a lot of these statements are just wildly conflicting, if you ask me at this point.
So I was looking back at the Turpin case from California. Do you remember that case?
Yeah,
We interviewed the prosecutor who prosecuted that case and
Okay, hold on.
was very close.
Let me hold on. This is what the inside of the Siders house looks like. Okay. So let's watch. I don't know if there's any This is
I
the
have slowed down the clip of the full walkthrough of the
I
Siders
don't
House
know.
of
I didn't watch
Horror.
the through.
I know the very first clip that we seen was very fast and the filming was terrible. So I've slowed it down so we can see in slow motion a better view of everything that was in that house. As far as I can tell, there is one couch, a few little mats. I would not even consider them mattresses, and the worst part is those mattresses are in that room where all of those bugs are. In this video, I'm going to just merge together all the videos that we actually have of inside of the home. We have the one video of the lady walking through the back door, and it's verified that that is the home. Just by the outside of the house, you see the same wagon and the same rake that was in the police photos that were released of that back porch. You can tell that the full walkthrough is of the house also. The lines, it matches. This is the Siders house. And I will say again, it was not me that went inside and got these videos. The video from TikTok was actually sent to me in a private message, and I did slow that video down because it is very hard to see. The video is very fast. There's no amount of anything. There's last year in 2020 what kind of real health problems they are facing now and probably facing.
Okay. Look at that. Looks like somebody died right there. I think this is that green door is the front door where you would walk in. Look at this. Wish I could slow this down because this is still a little fast. What the fuck? This is how they're living. This is just like where the adults would be. A kitchen. Ugh. Oh, look at that. Oh my god. Ew! Ew! Ugh. Look at the floor. Let me see if I can back it up a little bit. Okay, hold on. Look at that. That could be hair, that could be poop, that could be there was cats living in there, but look at that. And you can tell that's like a flat bump kind of thing. Ugh, so nasty. And I bet that's right where they walk right there. Oh, there's bleach. Why didn't anybody use that? Look at that. Oh my god. Hold on. I thought I just saw a bug run on the counter. Look at that. Oh my god. That's fucking gross. Ew. Oh, look, the bugs are running on the wall. The bugs are running on the wall. Hold on. Let me see. Look, little kid, that was a bug. Watch. Look right there. Look at him. Look at him. Ew. Gross. Missing the front of that. I bet that didn't even work. That's the bathroom. Hold on. Look at that toilet. What the fuck is that? What is this? Ugh. The tub was nasty too, by the way. I need to show the room where the kids were sleeping so I can show you guys. Oh, look at all the bugs on the walls. This is my second time watching this. Look, it literally looks that's why I like poop and pee and just oh god, that's so gross. This isn't the room. There's a fireplace right there. So I'm assuming that this was like maybe a living room or something. There's no floor in here. Look at all this trash. Whatever the fuck this is. Yeah, look at that box that's been there for a minute. They even have trash inside there. I'm just like looking at everything. Oh. Damn, he's moving too fast. Dang it. Kitchen, I believe. Nope, that's the kitchen, sorry. Come on, show the room with all the kids, where the kids were at. Okay, this one. Oh, that was it! Oh! Hold on. I want to show you the room where all the kids were living. Come on. I know it's towards the end. I'll just turn it off. It'd be easier. show where the kids were living. You're probably not going to, are you? Yeah. Is this the same person? Okay, hold on. Let me. Oops, wrong button. Oh, did you guys see that? Watch. This is the part that I was telling you about where they lifted all the stuff up. Watch. Look at all the bugs run. Look at all that. Ugh. Oh, that's so gross. There's where the kids slept. Mattress there, there, and over here. This is the room the kids slept in. I assume it's a garage because it's got steps going up. I assume it's like some type of old garage. But yeah, that's where they were living in. That's yeah. Goes right to the outside. They were in like the back area.
Y'all, it was the bugs for me.
That's just fucking gross. Let me see. Stop this one. Yeah, that's where they were living. Ugh.
Turpin kids and still is. And really, I mean, these cases are very complicated. Like, it's not cut and dry. And like what you said about, the 18-year-old being an adult, even though she's an adult, they're still like children. And that was the same case with the Turpins. Like, you can't really treat them as adults because they never went to school. You know what I mean? Like, mentally, they're still kids, but it's complicated because even she was explaining, like, even with all the abuse with the Turpins, some of those kids still missed their parents. I mean, that's all they've ever known. So I don't know. I think it's not as cut and dry as just saying these people are awful, evil, which maybe they are, but like you said, you bring poverty into it. You bring maybe like mentally diminished, IQs, like the
Yeah.
family's saying. I mean, I think it's not just cut and dry, I don't think.
Mom, Dad's been away working for a whole
I was
year.
reading
We finally get to see him today, right?
update.
That's right.
Where I live, they had a very big chemical spill into the creek, and it was how many gallons? 1.5 million gallons of. Okay, so for you city folk that don't know, fertilizer in my rural area is becoming very, very pricey. So farmers have started using human feces to fertilize their field. I guess it's treated. I don't know. I never looked into it. And you can definitely tell because when farmers lay down like pig or cow poop in the fields to fertilize stuff, because sorry, city folks, all those vegetables and corn and wheat that you eat has had cow poop on it pretty much. There's a different smell between cow and human when they lay it down in the field. It's like I would much rather smell the cow poop than the human one. It is so freaking gross. Like, I don't even wanna go outside when they lay it. It's so nasty, and it's just, ugh. Um, but 1.5 million gallons of human feces, it's got, like, ammonia in it and all kinds of other extra chemicals in it. Pugsley, you're fine. It was in an underground, like, tank, and the tank had a crack or something, I don't know, but it ended up going into a creek that fed into the major river over here, and thousands, I mean, thousands, I can show you guys pictures, of fish are dead floating on top of the water, turtles are dead, and then this river flows to the closest, like, large city, which is a very, very large city to me. They're starting to see their geese and ducks and stuff are dying too. So, I was reading an update, not knowing me some Laney Creek in our eyes were see, somebody had posted, um they must have sent this to somebody because it looks like a screenshot of a text, and it says, "Our friends have a field right by the creek. We went for a four-wheel or 4x4 ride last weekend, not knowing anything down their lane by the creek, and our eyes were burning. This is what their beans look like, all burnt from the fumes." And it shows a picture of the beans that were in the field. And then there's a picture of all the dead fish just floating. Thank God I only drink bottled water. Oh, sorry. Forgot that it was muted.
You know, some of the kids were close to death. My thought went to starvation, I think, at that point, or a possible infection just from, you know, there was one bathroom in that house. And again, it didn't seem like it was used a lot, or maybe they didn't even have soap. So again, you're in conditions like this, it is very easy to get these infections or you know, deal with these illnesses. And if you don't have proper medical care, then yes. Or
I should state though, because I'm reading through the comments. Sorry, sidebar. One of my friends, he just posted on the thing. These are the dams quotation marks that failed. Dot dot dot. Is this a joke? Just a pile of dirt. Laughing, crying face. They dammed up that creek because they were trying to clean the water before they release the rest of the water back to flow, and it's just dirt. It's a dirt dam. But we had got a lot of heavy rain, and it didn't they didn't take in account that we were going to be getting all this rain, and these dirt dams broke, and that's how all the water got into the river. So there's that.
you know, proper vaccinations, even whatever it is, yeah, these kids could be close to death. So I wasn't exactly thinking of a Turpin situation where, you know, some of the Turpin kids were chained to a bed. They would be beat and, you know, read passages from the Bible if they didn't do XYZ because their parents had you know, this certain ideology. I don't think that the Siders are calculated like that. Again, as of right now, could I change my mind as things come out? Absolutely. But everything that we've learned so far, Brian, I just don't think that they had this, you know, evil just plan in their head to keep breeding these children and torturing them and beating them and starving them. I again think that they just, it might have been just carelessness. It might, like, low IQ. I know I sound like a broken record. I want to be inside that courtroom. I want to, you know, I wish that we had a preliminary hearing, but again, they waived it last week. So it's going to a grand jury. Maybe we'll find out more based on a possible indictment. I do believe they will be indicted, but, you know, we'll see.
Yeah, it seems like this is maybe more a failure of the system too, like for not keeping track of the kids, no one noticing that that they basically just disappeared and and maybe it'll even
I was
come
kind
out
of
later
hoping
that
she was going to tell us if they were born at all different hospitals, because that's
there
what I
were
want.
reports made that just went ignored. That wouldn't surprise me either, to like protective services or whatever. So it's so sad though. Thank you for digging into it, Lauren, and for joining me.
Yes. Of course, anytime, Brian. I hope that we know more soon so we
Me
can
too.
speak a little bit more intelligently about, you know, the family.
All right, talk to you
I
later.
don't know what's supposed to.
Really appreciate Lauren for taking the time to talk with me. And as you heard me mention in my discussion with Lauren, I spoke last week to Kim DeGonia, who prosecuted the Turpin case. She has a really interesting perspective on sort of getting into the mind of parents like this. And I wanted to just replay for you guys a little clip of that because I thought it was so interesting.
Why do you need an LLC? Even if it's your first business, you don't want to link the business with your personal life and properties. But
just mentally, psychologically, like, what is going on with these parents? I mean, this is a really big question, I know, but those are your own kids. It's your own blood. How does it get to this point where they're living in filth? They're chained up with the Turpins. Similar situations, and they were living in a 12 by 12 room in Ohio. Like, how do people get to a place where they're doing this to their own kids?
I mean, Brian, that is the $1,000,000 question. How do they? I don't know. It's
Mental health issues, probably.
so callous and it's so, I mean, there's no words to describe, right? How a mother and a father who bear these children can turn and put them into the conditions, or even themselves live in those conditions, you know, where it's so filthy and there's rats and there's feces. Nobody in their right mind would want to live in that. So what is going on and why? What is their motive for wanting to produce all these children? I know that David and Luis